Next, on behalf of EFDD, in 3 minutes, I give the floor to William Dartmouth.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Now, let us start off with one proposition. It is not a good idea for politicians to seek to intervene in the legal process. In fact, it's a very bad idea. The separation of politics and law is central to Western democracy. Now, in the case of Mr. Julian Assange, he was taken into custody, came before a court and sentenced because he was found guilty of jumping bail. There are entirely separate charges of hacking and the like that have been filed against him in the United States. It is these charges that are to be the subject of an extradition hearing. The hearing will take place before an English judge. And what the Council said was factually wrong. The Home Secretary does not decide. Now, many people, including me, have disliked and disagreed with some rulings of judges in the UK, but no serious person doubts the objectivity and professionalism of the English judiciary. Nevertheless, Mrs. Gomez and other colleagues want the legal process to be subject to political interference. Now, this is my last speech in the Parliament, but I have to disagree. To debase the legal process to politics is entirely contrary, not just to Western values, but, Mrs. Joly, but to all the institutions of democracy. We, as politicians, should leave the legal matter of Julian Assange well alone. Now, what were the original legal proceedings that caused Mr. Assange to jump bail? Well, it was the European Arrest Warrant, and this warrant was brought not by a Swedish judge, but by the Swedish prosecutor. Now, despite this, with the European Arrest Warrant, there is no real defence against extradition, and this is very worrying. Now, we hear a lot in this place about human rights, but it is the SND, the ALDE group, the British Liberal Democrats, all the unthinking supporters of a European superstate, who are also the same people who are big supporters of the European Arrest Warrant. Their commitment to civil liberties and the European Arrest Warrant is highly flawed, as it probably was in the case of Mr. Assange. Your commitment to civil liberties and legal due process comes to a grinding halt at Calais, and all in the name of yet more integration. If only these people would think again, and I beg you and urge you to do so. Thank you.
And you are talking, my colleague, about the legal procedure. Was the legal procedure respected in the case of other countries? We are doing interventions, we are making statements. Why not now? Why? Because the British government is in a mess because of Brexit, and now the government is trying to escape with Assange's exit. This is not fair. This is not right. You are a politician, and you have to take a position. You are against the extradition or not?
Thank you very much. You were called. You have the right to answer.
Chair, I very much appreciate you giving me the opportunity to respond. It is a legal matter. That is it. Period. It is a legal matter. Now, if you're an advocate of politicians interfering and intervening in legal due process, that is a perfectly understandable and legitimate point of view, although one that I don't happen to agree with. But that is your privilege. That is your privilege to argue that, but it is completely contrary to the way in which Western democracy and democratic institutions are organised. The separation of the executive and the judiciary is absolutely fundamental.
Szépen képviselőtársaim, Anna Miranda következik 1 percre a zöld.
Thank you very much. Next is Anna Miranda in 1 minute on behalf of Greens.
to my colleague, if I can.
Okay, 1 more minute, I give you 2.
Yes.
Is it okay?
I would like to ask you this question, my colleague. What about the processes in Turkey? Is Turkey right when it says that this is a legal action and you have to respect the legal procedure in Turkey and not interfere? And then why we have done so many statements against processes in Turkey? Why?
I keep this as a rhetoric question. Do you want to answer? Not really.
I'll answer in just a few seconds. What colleagues are advocating is that the British government intervenes in the judicial process in England. That is what you're advocating about Turkey is that we intervene or seek to intervene in Turkey. I entirely agree with you with your criticisms of Turkey, and I only wish my government and other governments would make it clear that Turkey will never become a member of the European Union, irrespective of whether the UK is a member or not.
Colleagues, thank you very much. Both sides were heard.